Happy Thanksgiving. I can't believe that even that now is a political issue. It is a real shame what's happened to this holiday, which used to be all about the good F's, food, friends, family, football, fun. And now it's you. You're not even invited because you voted for the wrong person. I'm so tired of liberals ghosting half this country. Conservatives do it too, but not nearly as much. Look, whoever's doing it, it's got to stop, because we're at a point now where politics has broken up more families than letting your wife see your phone.
Something strange is happening in America, and Bill Maher decided Thanksgiving was the perfect moment to drag it into the light. It wasn't just a joke or a punchline. It felt like that moment when someone at the family table suddenly says what everyone else has been whispering about for years. Viewers thought they were getting another comedy rant, but instead, they watched a full-blown reality check for a country that now treats even a holiday dinner as a political minefield. And Maher didn't ease into it. He kicked the door open by pointing out how a simple meal, once built on leftovers, football, and arguments about who overcooked the turkey, somehow became a cultural battlefield you need emotional armor to walk into.
Somewhere along the way, my values became code for I'm the only one with a moral compass. You know what would have been a better exercise? Write a top 10 list to yourself where you try to imagine 10 reasons why 77 million Americans didn't want to trust you with taking power. And I say that as someone who votes Democratic. As I like to remind my very pure friends, we voted for the same person. You're just why she lost.
Thanksgiving used to be one of the few days where everyone argued about harmless things, like who stole the last roll, not who stole the election. But recently, online corners have been buzzing with posts calling the holiday problematic, outdated, or too difficult to celebrate because it might require peacefully sitting next to someone with a different opinion. Rumors online even claimed some influencers planned anti-Thanksgiving live streams this year, specifically to avoid their families. None of those trends reached the mainstream, but the buzz alone showed how sensitive the conversation has become. And that's exactly why Maher's roast hit so hard. He mocked the idea that Thanksgiving needs an ideological purity test, and viewers immediately recognized the absurdity he was calling out. Because somewhere along the way, the culture began treating political disagreement like a contagious illness.
Don't be a hypocrite and defend attacks on speech from the left, because you either get the concept or you don't. And sadly, a lot of people don't anymore. Yes, mostly the young who were never taught it by their derelict educational system. But also Lisa Cook. She's the Fed board member Trump is trying to fire for bullshit reasons, and they are bullshit. But when she tried to get another professor fired because he once, according to one student, was less than rapturous about Martin Luther King Day, no, she should know better. She said free speech should have its limits. Yes, it should, and does. And this comes nowhere close to them.
Maher pointed out the rise of what people online now call no-contact politics, a trend where cutting off family isn't a last resort. It's a badge of honor. The internet is full of sad stories about siblings blocking each other over votes, parents icing out their kids, and people bragging on social media about skipping family events for the greater good. Some users even claimed celebrities quietly did the same, distancing themselves from relatives whose opinions didn't match their public image. Whether those stories are true or exaggerated, they fed into the larger trend Maher was highlighting. The idea that political disagreement is treated like a moral emergency instead of a regular part of being human. That's why the moment he dragged Hollywood into the conversation turned heads. He referenced writers, performers, and public figures who openly admitted they severed ties because family members didn't vote correctly. And while Maher kept it comedic, the undertone was obvious. Hollywood has its own unwritten rules. Behind the scenes, rumors circulate that some writers' rooms have become ideological pressure cookers, where one wrong joke can get someone quietly pushed out. No one ever admits this publicly, but actors and comedians hint at it during interviews or podcasts. Fans online speculate that more entertainers agree with Maher privately, but avoid saying it out loud because they don't want to become the internet's target of the week. That quiet tension is what made his next point hit harder. Politics has become a spectator sport with real casualties, and now even holidays are on the chopping block. Maher basically called out the woke gatekeepers, the people who treat every cultural moment like a chance to police others. And the most dramatic part? He did it while making the audience laugh, dismantling the whole mindset in under a minute. But the backlash was immediate. Certain corners of social media erupted with posts calling his comments out of touch, dangerous, or another old comedian ranting. Others defended him, saying he was simply describing what regular people have been living through. The divide itself proved his point, but Maher was far from finished, because then he shifted into the topic that always sets the internet on fire: free speech. He argued that disagreeing with someone now goes beyond healthy debate. It's become a form of digital punishment. Say something someone finds offensive, they won't argue with you. They'll try to erase you. And that resonated because people have watched this unfold for years. Entire hashtags dedicated to canceling someone. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds. Old posts being dragged out as evidence for public shaming campaigns. Maher didn't exaggerate. He held up a mirror, and viewers recognized the reflection instantly. To make things even more intense, he compared the US climate to what's happening internationally. Recent cases in the UK, where comedians or writers faced real consequences over online posts, have been circulating all over social platforms. People shared stories, some verified, some speculative, about authorities monitoring speech or comedians being questioned about jokes. Whether every detail is accurate or not, the anxiety around speech limits feels real. And Maher warned that America could slide into the same pattern if people keep cheering every time someone gets punished for an unpopular opinion. Then he dropped the line that went viral across comment sections. "We can do this, people. It's Thanksgiving." It wasn't just the delivery, it was the exhaustion behind it. He was essentially begging America to stop acting like sitting at a dinner table with different opinions requires a security briefing. The message was simple. If you can't survive 2 hours with your own family, the problem might not be the family. Online reactions exploded instantly. Some said Maher made the most relatable point of the year. Others claimed he was normalizing harmful views, though they never specified what those views were. And a few people even speculated that certain networks weren't thrilled with how blunt he became, though there's no evidence for that, just fan theories circulating on discussion boards. What was undeniable, though, was how many people connected to the frustration behind his words. It felt less like a comedy segment and more like a cultural intervention. But the deeper question is why holidays suddenly feel dangerous. Part of it is psychological. Humans are tribal. Modern politics just amplified that instinct. Social media rewards outrage, turning every disagreement into a performance. People get addicted to being right, terrified of being wrong, and convinced that the other side is a moral threat. It's no surprise families struggle. Everyone is treating conversations like courtroom battles instead of casual meals. Maher tapped into that with almost surgical precision. He wasn't just roasting the woke crowd. He was exposing how fragile the country has become. This is where the script slows down for a moment, only to hit harder. Because Maher's final message wasn't about politics at all. It was about freedom. A society that panics every time someone has a different opinion can't function. A holiday built on gratitude shouldn't require ideological boot camp. And a culture obsessed with canceling people will eventually cancel itself. That's why his Thanksgiving roast felt bigger than a joke. It was a warning wrapped inside humor. The real twist? Maher wasn't defending one political side over the other. He roasted everyone. He roasted the left for purity tests. He roasted the right for echo chambers. He roasted Hollywood for sensitivity. He roasted the internet for overreacting. And he roasted the entire country for treating disagreements like moral crises. In a world where people unfollow, block, and exile others over minor differences, his message was almost rebellious. Talk to each other, argue, laugh, eat, be annoyed, be confused, be human. Just don't isolate yourself into a version of reality where everyone agrees with you. Because if Thanksgiving is controversial now, imagine what's next. People already debate Christmas decor, Halloween costumes, Mother's Day, and even national anthems. What happens when every celebration needs ideological approval? Maher's roast wasn't just a joke, it was a prediction. And watching how online culture has evolved, it might not be an exaggeration at all. So here's the final takeaway. Maher wasn't telling people how to vote. He was telling them how to live. A holiday doesn't fall apart because someone at the table thinks differently. It falls apart when people forget that disagreement is normal. Freedom doesn't disappear when someone offends you. It disappears when you silence them. And gratitude means nothing if it only applies to people who think exactly like you. That's why his roast landed like a bomb. Not because he attacked the woke crowd, but because he reminded viewers of something they hadn't heard in a long time. You can disagree with someone and still pass the mashed potatoes.